This that
Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda Anthem.
I won't say which stock I think is going to do the best this year, but I will say a stock that I think could potentially be the best buy this year. And being a best buy doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to have a great year this year, but it's going to have a good run eventually when you buy it, and that's Amazon. And I feel like, it's 50% off of its all-time high. It doesn't really take a rocket scientist to figure this out, that at some point the ship is going to be turned around. Yeah, I'm not to say this guaranteed that it's going to be booming this year as far as their stock, but strongly believe in what Amazon has, their business model. They've pretty much created a monopoly in their space. And I think that they're going to continue to get bigger over the next decade. So anytime that you get a chance to buy a stock like Amazon at such a deep discount, I think you definitely have to consider it. And I think that, if you hold for the long term, you will probably be rewarded for that.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I just didn't want to say it 2 years in a row.
Got to change it up.
Yeah, I was like, let me just, because they were like, yo, you said that last year, man. Stock went down 64%. That's a great one. I'll add another one.
That's why it's good now.
Yeah, great time.
Well played.
I think Google's in that as well.
Absolutely. Especially with the NFL deal, which
we can't ignore that. That NFL deal is.
Told y'all. Everyone is your competitor. Everyone.
Yeah. From an advertising space, from a content space, from a search engine, and now from a
viewership.
Live sports, a viewership, right? Because you figure that NFL ticket is a monster.
Mm-hmm.
I think what are they selling it? $300 for the season, $299 for the season, something like that. Which is
that's Prime Plus, Prime NFL Plus. Apple, y'all better get $9 billion together for the Super Bowl. I'm going to make a call right now. Apple or Amazon is in 3 years is going to have exclusive rights to the Super Bowl. Oh, Ian's crazy. He's on pineapple juice again, Rashad. How do you deal with him? Okay. Everyone is your competition. Let Black China clean up her act and go to etiquette classes. She'll be teaching investing on OnlyFans. Everybody is your damn competition. And once people realize that, and we're in a consolidation phase amongst tech too, Twitch had a whole bunch of deals they were giving out, then they consolidated, and now they're not as popular. I know like Academics doesn't have his deal there anymore, but T-Pain is popping. Everyone on earth is your competition. Shout out to Google, shout out to YouTube. We're living in interesting times, but if you go study the tech wars from 1994 through 2005, this is Alta Vista, YesG's, Google, AOL, Netscape. Go look at everything Mark Andreessen wrote back in the day. We're going through the second version of that, and Web 3.0 is overrated. Might clip that up.
So, all right.
Wait, hold on. What was that? A teacup?
Oh yeah, shitty y'all. Good time to drink, isn't it? Hey, we coming back. When we going back? Girl took the drink out my hand. You shouldn't carry rubbish. I said, baby, we go to Harrods right now. What you mean? A king like you should not even carry rubbish. What? Room 1714. Come on. What?
Jesus. We're on the way, man.
London women different.
On the way. The Eagle has landed. Shout out to Coach Prime, Deion Sanders.
Yes.
Yeah, he reached out to us today.
Oh, for us, dope.
Yeah. He sent some words of encouragement.
What were those words, though? Come on.
He told us to continue what we're doing. He's proud of us. 2023 is going to be a big year for us. So shout out to Coach Prime, man. That was
That's fire.
Oh no, that sounds like Boulder's calling.
Boulder.
Love Denver.
Boulder, is that you?
We're gonna be on the sideline like Gillian Wallow. Hey, hey, what we doing? Let's go.
Boulder. Let's take this intermission break. I wanted to say something because I posted something on Instagram, and it got a lot of traction, and it was actually an old post, but what I realized is that a lot of people, don't catch the information when it comes out, or they might be new, or they just forgot. So I posted about an ILIT, irrevocable life insurance trust, and this is something that I think is important for people to understand. Just the trust period. We should probably at some point bring a lawyer on to talk about trust
That'd be great.
and estate planning, because it's extremely important, especially when you're talking about wealth. But the whole point of a trust is to take things out of your name. And this is why when they always say, you always hear that cliche, like, what is it? Own nothing, control everything.
Yes.
And that's, that's kind of where that comes from. Whereas, a lot of wealthy people, they don't really, and they're not really in a hurry to have their name on everything. And this goes back to even that versus battle with Jeezy and Gucci. And when Jeezy said he owns half Atlanta, and then, of course, people on social media, they got to Googling, and they was like, well, it actually comes out that he only owns one house in Macon, Georgia. And then there's another wave of social media people that was like, well, you don't, just because your name is not attached to it doesn't mean that you don't.
Surprise.
That's actually more beneficial, because just how you found out that he owns that house, like, don't you think that it would probably be beneficial that you wouldn't be able to find it out? And it's like, that's why people own things and trust and LLCs and different things of that nature, for protection on a legal side, but also to take things out of their personal estate, because there's a thing called estate taxes. So this is extremely important, where it's like, okay, as you're accumulating wealth and you become wealthy, this information might not apply to you right now, but God willing, it will apply to you in the future. And this is the whole point of why you're watching Market Mondays, right? So when you're 10 million up and when you're 20 million up, now you got a whole different set of problems. It's not like your problems aren't money. Your problems are keeping money.
Yes.
That's extremely important. Getting money is one thing. Keeping money is a whole different ballgame. And that's the part that they never taught you. They never really taught you how to get money, but some people are smart enough to figure it out. But you definitely wasn't taught how to keep money. Because even if you get money, it could just be a fluke. They'll let you have money for 20 years, 30 years, but that's not really no real money, because ultimately you're just going to give it back in 30 years anyway. When you die, your family, the IRS, everybody's just going to come, and then, one generation, you back to where you started. So this is extremely important to understand. So when you hear the word trust, it's just important. I wanted to kind of give that groundwork. Now,
Is notepad time? I just want to know if it's notepad time.
Yes, this is important.
Hey, let's do this then.
It's always notepad.
Let's do this then. Let's do this then.
Money Green, let's go.
Money Green, the money team.
Hey.
So there's a difference between tax evasion and tax avoidance. Let's put this out there right away, because I'm not going through this with you. Oh, this tax evasion is a federal crime that you will be penalized for, and you'll probably go to jail if you ever get caught. This is when you're purposely avoiding paying taxes and you're lying on your income and you're not reporting income. That is tax evasion. That's illegal, and you should never do that under any circumstances. Tax avoidance is the practice of minimizing the taxes that you owe in a legal and efficient manner. This is something that smart people do and wealthy people have been doing for a very long period of time. Tax avoidance is not tax evasion. They're two different things, right? And we can have a conversation about Donald Trump at some point if you're interested, but that's a different conversation altogether.
I will duck that straight.
Everybody out of scene. Everybody out of camera.
I'm cool.
So your whole point is to pay as little taxes as possible. There's nothing wrong with that. And this is why it's important to be a business owner. This is why it's important to have deductions. This is why it's important to have employees, because the tax code, once again, is not set up for employees. The tax code is set up for entrepreneurs and investors, landowners. These are the who do you think writes the tax code? This is something that people don't fully understand. And one thing that you can't do if you're trying to become wealthy, you can't beef with information. Don't argue with information. Don't
or
fight
legislation.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you're not qualified to speak, you have to listen. If you're not qualified to speak, you have to listen. This is where humility comes into play. So, all right. Having said that, the ILIT, Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust, very important to understand why this is even important. So The irrevocable life insurance trust is when you have a life insurance policy, but you're not the owner. The trust, you have a trust set up, and the trust is the owner of the life insurance. Now, why is this important? Because if you own life insurance in your own personal name, right, and you die, now that gets added into your estate. Now, if you're worth $5 million and you have a $5 million life insurance policy, now you are actually, your estate is $10 million. It's actually a issue because now you have what's called estate tax. You can study what happened to Prince. You can study what happened to Michael Jackson. When you don't have an estate plan, the government comes and they want money within 90 days. So now you have to, this is why the whole estate sale, when you see a lot of musicians like Elvis Presley, they selling his guitar because they don't have enough money. So now you got to do a fire sale and start selling things, start selling autographed jerseys, start selling homes because you got to raise money to give it to the IRS. That's because they didn't do estate planning. Extremely important to understand this. So to avoid the life insurance causing an issue, then you can put it in a trust. And being that it's in a trust, it doesn't get added to your estate because you don't own it. Estate owns it.
Yeah.
That is the benefit of it. Now, what it also can do is pay estate taxes, because if you have taxes that are due, now you can use a portion of the life insurance policy that's owned by the estate tax-free to pay your estate taxes, and a variety of different other things that you can actually do to set it up. So, like I said, it's not for everybody, but a lot of people listen to Market Mondays. So I'm assuming that some of the people probably are in that situation where they are wealthy. You just by the number, if 100,000 people listen to this, some are wealthy.
Yep.
That's just the law of large numbers. And like I said, if you yourself are not wealthy, that's okay.
You're going to get there.
At some point,
Stay with us long enough.
When you are there, it's better to have the information as opposed to not having the information. We saw it happen. Rest in peace to Takeoff. He didn't have a will, didn't have any estate plan in place. His parents, I guess they're not together anymore. And now allegedly they're, fighting over his situation. And it's in probate and it's the whole thing. So it's like these things keep happening. They keep happening. It was happening in the 60s with Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
It happened with Prince. It happened with Michael Jackson.
Tupac.
It happened as recently with Takeoff. This is generations keep making the same mistake because they're not educated and they're not informed. And you're not planning for your death because you're thinking that it's superstitious that if you think about death, you're going to die. Well, newsflash, you're going to die. It's 100% chance you're going to die. That's the thing about it. It's 100% chance. I've never met a person I've never met a person that is 300 years old.
They're not die proof.
500 years old.
They're not die proof.
I've never met a person that's immortal.
Yep.
Never met a person that has Elon Musk, all the money I've never met a person that has become immortal yet. Yep. Who knows? Maybe they are. I just never met them. I've never met an immortal person before. I never met somebody.
Maybe with some of them babies they put like in that Matrix womb, they'll be able to live for 300 years.
Put them in the bubble.
The Matrix pod.
Jesus.
Put them in the bubble. The real bubble.
That's the other big podcast boom we gonna see.
Yeah. So
the Matrix pod.
Reach out to your trusted lawyer. Get your estate plan in order. This is extremely important. And this is what I'm doing myself as of right now. I'm getting my estate plan in order. So even if you're not at the level to get a trust, check your beneficiaries.
Yeah.
Get life insurance. Get a power of attorney. Get a healthcare proxy. Get your estate plan order. We're at the top of the year. Everybody's setting a New Year's resolution. This is a good resolution for you to have. Have a conversation with your family. Have a conversation with your children. Sometimes you got to have uncomfortable conversations. So, just wanted to talk about that. I'm sure we'll probably, like I said, at some point we should probably bring a lawyer on and we can have an even more in-depth conversation. But important to keep in mind.
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda Anthem.
Your
Whole
boy.
clip going up. I know they can't stand it.